You are now listening to Blind Boys Politics.
Ready, camera one, box. Take 11, Mike Keelan to New York.
Tiananmen Square is now underway.
Can we all get along? Can we get along?
That Simpson has a gun at his head.
Do not think one terrorist bomb will shatter either the faith or the future of the people of Oklahoma.
Everyone around me got shot.
Them and hear about them in the media. God willing.
There has just been a huge explosion. A plane or a helicopter has crashed. Good Lord. That is about as frightening a scene as you will ever see.
In the Battle of Iraq, the United States and our allies have prevailed.
Barack Obama, he will be the first African-American president of the United States. Change has come to America.
After a firefight, they killed Osama bin Laden.
States can no longer ban same-sex marriage.
America has lived up to her promise of liberty and justice for all.
The entire thing has been a witch hunt.
Article 2 is adopted.
Again, extend my deepest apologies to the journalists who were inadvertently but nevertheless detained.
To create a positive force in a world where cynics abound. To provide information to people when it wasn't available before.
Chris Baker, Nicholas Rod, you are on the air. Go.
And we're back for another episode. How's it going, Chris?
I'm doing great, Nick. How are you?
I am completely exhausted. I want to be done, but here we are.
Oh, don't lie to yourself. You want to be here, Nick. You love doing the podcast.
That's true. I mean, this should be a good hour for us here. But no,
it will wake you up for the week.
I hope so. I mean, it's been an exhausting morning. For those that don't know, and many wouldn't, for all of you that listen, I do a little pre-college program to prepare myself for my life after high school, and oh god, it can be exhausting and extremely boring. So that's been my morning.
Well, see, Nick, while you're doing college programs and all that, 2 days a week I work from home, and while I'm working from home, I decided, let's make banana bread.
That sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm. There's probably paperwork I should have been doing, but I decided to make banana bread instead.
That's way more productive anyway. It'll be okay.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you 100%. I'm surprised I haven't burned down the house yet with the oven on, honestly.
Yeah, it's as I said last week. You scare me with anything. So, props.
Yeah, wait until I use a blowtorch.
I make sure I'm not there, please.
I'll make sure you're out of the country and everyone else.
Okay, thank you. We'll call for a national emergency.
Another one.
Another one. Because that's exactly what we need.
You know, half of the country will believe it, and then the other half will be like, nah. And then they'll see.
It'll be fine. And that's how the United States got burned to shreds. But we are still alive and breathing, and our country is still on some level standing, why don't we get into some of the news that came out over the past week?
Yes, we should. And there's been a lot of, it seems like, I don't know about you, Nick, but it seems like a lot of news has been coming out recently, like
more
big
than usual
stuff. Yeah, like, you know, there's usually the big story and then little minor things, but there's been some big stories going on this week. For example, the judge in New Jersey, Esther Salas, her son, Daniel Adderall, was murdered while she was downstairs. Nick, do you want to give a little background on how the events that played out?
Yeah, so there was a lawyer, criminal attorney, who was set to go in front of Miss Salas for a hearing. And this lawyer was very well known for being completely sexist and misogynistic. And he was later found, after this whole event happened, he was later found dead with a package that was supposedly addressed to the family, and they suspect that he did it. And what actually happened was he disguised himself as a FedEx driver.
That's the whole reason the son and father opened the door.
Exactly. He went to their home, and he was disguised as a FedEx driver, opened the door. The father and son opened the door. Son was shot through the heart, killed immediately. Father was also injured, but he survived. And the judge was not hurt during the whole, during the whole event. And then later on, the lawyer shot himself.
Absolutely. And since this is, new discovering news, there's updates, every day, even some cases every hour on the whole case and everything. At the very beginning, they thought it was a housewife from The Real Housewives of New Jersey, because her and her husband had her as a judge many, many times in court issues that they've had. So they were at first a suspect. That was quickly canceled, that it wasn't them, and they moved on to essentially that the guy that they believe did it. Now, for me personally, I don't know how anyone could go this low to do that to a family.
I mean, this guy, this lawyer, was already such a low human being, though. I mean, the levels of misogyny that he would go to were insane. He went after so many cases. He sued so many establishments, especially like bars, for things like ladies' night, where women could get into bars for free and all of that. He went after those places so many times. He thought that women didn't deserve the equal rights that men have. Oh my God, this guy truly infuriates me.
Absolutely, I totally agree. And the thing that I think is the most messed up situation about it is that he targeted her immediate family. He shot and killed her son because he wanted to go into law just like his parents. And that's one of the main reasons he hated this kid, the main reason he ended up killing him. I think that is disgusting that someone could go that low to kill someone because you have issues with someone else in their family.
Absolutely. Well, murder in any fashion is so messed up, and the reasons for the murder are just absolutely they're just even more disgusting. Like, it's so hard to believe that people like him exist, and that there are people that would actually go to these lengths to do things like this. And to be so misogynistic, to be so cruel and cold and disgusting, it's so hard to take in.
Absolutely. And Nick, this is obviously America. Many people are allowed to have their opinions and what they want, but to go that far, I think, is a little extreme.
A little.
Oh, extremely extreme. Personally, I have grudges against someone, but no one would ever would go and kill them because we have different career paths, different political opinions, things like that. That's just beyond disgusting. And yeah,
I mean, everyone has disagreements with other people. Everyone has their hate for other people. But do you see every Jack, Jill, and Jimmy going and murdering, the corner store employee because they didn't give him a discount on something? It's so insane that we can't just let these opinions stay in our head.
And because of this, everyone has to walk their back. It's like,
oh my God, I know.
That just, some people are going to be like, I can't disagree with anyone ever now because they're going to come to my house and shoot my family.
Yeah. And to put something out there, and the reason I bring this up is because I read it in one of the articles talking about this whole thing. The writers of the article started going into a lot of detail about gun problems in situations like this, in murders and everything. And you know, and I know, that this is probably going to bring up a whole new wave of gun control activists. They're going to be like, ban the guns. They're not allowed anymore.
I couldn't agree with you more, Nick, on that statement. And there might be time for a change with these gun laws, but I don't know. My personal opinion is this is just so extreme. And yes, murder does happen quite often, but I think it's just the circumstances of it is what makes it so extreme.
Yeah. Well, and to just touch on the gun law part a little bit more, again, this is going to bring up a whole new wave of gun control activists, most likely. I wouldn't be surprised. But before anyone gets these ideas of all guns should be banned, the guns are the problem with murder in this country, let me tell you right now, no. It's the people that fire the guns, they pull the trigger. If guns were banned, well, then we would see people use things like knives or bombs. We see terrorists, we see bombers setting explosives off. Explosives are illegal. Has that stopped people? No. People are going to find a way to murder if they want to. So just seeing this article this morning about talking all about these gun problems and, involving the guns in the whole situation, it kind of set me off because I'll admit I'm pro-gun. I am. Because I see no reason for them to be banned. Maybe I understand. Okay, maybe we go with a stronger background check system. That's fair. Okay?
I see your point 100%, and you are right. Explosives are illegal in the United States. That doesn't stop people. So how is that going to stop someone from going across border lines where it is legal to buy a gun and shoot someone? The background checks need to be possibly improved. You're not going to stop things like this. It's going to happen. It's unfortunate that these things happen. But the harsh reality is these things are going to happen because people, they're obviously not right in the head if someone can go to this far of an extreme to kill a family over career differences, political differences. And that's what it boils down to.
Of course.
And this guy is too much of a coward. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're right, though. He is too much of a coward. He's too much of a coward to take responsibility.
That's so easy, yeah. I hate to say it, but he's taking the easy route out of this. He kills a family and then goes and kills himself. That is a coward move.
No, you're absolutely right, though. The fact that he did that he committed suicide to get out of taking any kind of responsibility for what he did, there's the 0.001% chance that it was out of regret, but I highly doubt that. A lot of people will do it just to escape responsibility, and I think this is an example of that right here.
It is, and I don't know what else to say to it besides he was being a pure coward.
Yeah. It's a horrible situation. It's a horrible turn of events. It's a great thing that the judge wasn't hurt and that her husband wasn't killed. We just hope that he heals up and recovers. And condolences to the family for losing their son. That is absolutely horrible, especially since he was so young, 20 years old.
Their family's never going to be the same.
No, absolutely not. It's definitely going to hold in their minds forever.
They're probably going to be looking over their shoulders all the time now. Because, think about it, this family saw their dead son on the floor.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's truly horrible. Again, condolences to the family for everything they've been through and that they're going to continue to go through for quite some time, I imagine.
Now, Nick, can we change the subject a little bit?
Yeah, let's move into a bit of a different area of news, because trust me, there's plenty more to go through.
I don't know how I can call this better news, but here I am calling it better news. The president, Donald Trump, he finally wore a mask.
Wait, repeat that?
Our president wore a mask. And he even proved us all by posting a picture on Twitter.
Now, before everyone starts cheering and applauding and thinking that he is truly the master now, we will say that people are already coming out with the idea that it is to improve his poll numbers. So I wouldn't get too excited just yet.
Let's see if he continues to wear that mask. And if he said it is patriotic to wear a mask, why didn't you say it was patriotic to wear a mask before you were losing in the poll numbers, Mr. President?
That's a very good question. You guys have heard us spew words about this, entire sections of our episodes since episode 3 talking about everything he's done. And we've devoted plenty of time to talking about how he doesn't wear a mask. Here he is, suddenly, poof, it happened.
It's amazing. I'm in pure shock when I saw the Twitter post.
I heard about this, and I'm just sitting there speechless. I'm like, wait.
Is this real?
Is this real life?
Don't be playing with me now, Twitter.
I think I'm dreaming. But no. I pinched myself, I poured some ice water over my head, and sure enough, I was actually awake, and it actually happened.
Let's see if he actually continues to wear it. Like I said, who knows what's going to happen,
Well, if he...
Is it a political stunt, or is he actually realizing that masks are needed?
It's a very good question. I mean, he's been doing all kinds of weird things to try and get himself back into the race lately. He fired his campaign manager not too long ago, and now he's doing this. He's pulling all kinds of stunts now. It's like I said, going back to our 3rd episode, or if you haven't listened to it, Trump's biggest rally. He held his Tulsa rally. It's supposed to be a huge, huge get-together in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Stadium of 19,000. Definitely didn't promote masks then. Not a single person in that stadium wore a mask, and people did contract the virus from it, including 2 of the members from his team. And even then, after that, he continued to talk down to people who wore masks and talk badly about the people that tried to mandate it. Here we are,
Mr. Donald Trump now wearing a mask. It only took half of his, team and FBI agents and Secret Service and all that to get it, but small improvement. Small improvement.
But here's my question, Chris, and I hope, to dear God, you can answer this for me. What is patriotic about wearing a mask?
Well, Nick, the theory behind being patriotic and wearing a mask is it's very patriotic to wear a mask. That's all I can really say, because I really don't get that. Besides that, if you wear a mask, it saves our country, ? That's one way to look at patrioticness.
Real patriotic. We got the Revolutionary War. That's patriotic. Standing up for our country. Woo! That's patriotic.
Wearing a mask!
Wearing a mask!
Really sacrificing it right there.
Oh, yeah. The patrioticness of it all. It's gorgeous. We love it. We love it here in America. But, yeah, I mean, absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But that's not the only thing that Trump's in the news for this week. Isn't that right, Chris?
Nick, Before we get into it, can I ask you one simple question?
I'd love to hear this question. Fire away.
Since when is Trump ever in the news for just one thing? Has that ever been the case?
You know, that's a good question. I mean, I know in previous episodes we've only covered one topic, but yeah, usually it's more than one.
I think it would be breaking news if we only had one thing to report. That would be the whole episode. Breaking news. Trump's only in the news for one thing only. Episode over. See you later.
But
that has not happened yet.
Not at all.
Probably never will happen.
I mean, it makes things exciting.
For us.
There's a little excitement out there for everyone. But why don't we get into his next little appearance in the papers?
Well, he signed a executive order against, an immigration executive order, that's saying undocumented immigrants, the next census that comes out, they cannot take part in.
What this whole thing is saying, this whole executive order is saying is that these undocumented immigrants will not be counted in the census, which may affect district lines. Now, there are a couple of questions that get brought up with something like this. A, is it unconstitutional to do this? B, how are they going to track all undocumented immigrants in the country? Because I don't see how that's possible. I mean, I know the government can be a powerful agency there, or whatever you want to call it, but no. I don't see any way for anyone to get all of the undocumented immigrants to, covered.
Take the census. And I don't understand the whole point of him even with this executive order. If they're already having a hard time getting immigrants to take the census, why would he sign an executive order that they can't take the census?
Well, again, we want to be very clear here. Legal, documented immigrants are taking the census because they have nothing to fear. Of course, the ones that are undocumented and here illegally, they are not taking the census. There have been groups trying to promote them to take it, whether here illegally or not. But of course, it's a struggle. And, you're going to have a hard time getting people who are not fully American citizens to take something like that.
Yes, I understand that part. But what I don't understand is, what's the whole point of this executive order? I think the executive order, my personal opinion is, I feel like with the global pandemic, he should be more focusing on that. Yes, he brought the daily briefings back. First one since April was the other day. But why is he signing executive orders for things that, yes, it is a relevant issue. Yes, it's an issue. But it's not causing direct harm to Americans. So why is that, the top thing that comes to his desk? There's so many other issues that they should be dealing with. The pandemic, another stimulus check, murder issues, police issues. Yes, undocumented immigrants is an issue. Yes, there needs to be a better handle on that. But I don't feel like this is the time for that.
I get where you're coming from there, and it makes sense. It makes sense, why
it's just like that. Another thing added to the to-do list, another weight put on your shoulders.
Yeah, I agree.
Take weights off and then put more weights on. Don't put so many weights on that you end down in 6 feet under.
No, you're not wrong. And the order itself, I don't truly understand the purpose. I don't really know if it's to try and snuff out illegal immigrants so they could be deported, or if it's to try to somehow just cut them out from being Americans. I don't completely get this one. I don't see the full point in it, really. My question is it really so big that it needs to be taken to the Supreme Court? Because this is being taken to court to see if it's unconstitutional or not. And I don't really know if it's worth it. See, the reason people are going after it as being unconstitutional is because in the 14th Amendment, it does say that all persons, the total number of persons in an area must be counted, not just documented ones. The reason I have issue with this, and I might get a lot of stick for this, which I'm prepared for, but this is just my idealism, so here it is. The 14th Amendment was created in a time when immigration wasn't the issue that it is today. The 14th Amendment came out at a time when our country was just being born still, when we were still just trying to build ourselves up to be called a true nation. And that amendment does not, take into account immigration issues of today, in my opinion. So it's hard for me to think that this can be taken to the Supreme Court, saying that it's against the 14th Amendment. I mean, yes, technically it is, and we hold our Constitution in such high regard, as we should. However, I feel like there are problems in it. I feel like there are holes in trying to do that, and I don't know. I could be way off base, but again, that's just my opinion without really, really diving into the wording of the 14th Amendment and the whole point behind this executive order in the first place.
Are we ready to get into this week's good news story?
Unless you have anything to add on what I said,
No, I agree with you.
Then all right.
So moving on to this week's good news story. This is a news story that has gotten a ton of traction. It's made big news. It's so big that celebrities have gotten a hold of it, and they're, congratulating this kid for what he's done. And if you haven't heard, I do believe 7-year-old jumped in front of a dog from attacking his little sister. So his little sister didn't get injured at all, and he ended up getting just under 100 stitches in his face. His aunt took to Twitter and Instagram to, congratulate the young boy, and she didn't expect it to get the traction that it did. It ended up going pretty viral. If you haven't heard about it, look more into it. But it went so far that the actor that plays Captain America is sending him an authentic shield that is Captain America's for him to keep because he is the true hero, and we'll play his audio now.
This is a message for Bridger. Hey, Bridger. Captain America here. How you doing, buddy? So I read your story. I saw what you did. Now, I'm sure you've heard a lot of this over the last couple of days, but let me be the next one to tell you, pal, you're a hero. What you did was so brave, so selfless. Your sister is so lucky to have you as a big brother. Your parents must be so proud of you. I'm going to track down your address, and I'm going to send you an authentic Captain America shield because, pal, you deserve it. Keep being the man you are. We need people like you. Hang in there. I know recovery might be tough, but based on what I've seen, I don't think there's much that can slow you down. Bye, buddy.
This is just amazing,
It's a great story that he was so fearless to jump in front of a dog attacking his little sister, and for him to be that young, to sacrifice essentially his own life for his baby sister.
It's crazy. When you're faced with a situation like that, a dog getting ready to attack, they say you have, the two reactions, fight or flight. Well, in the presence of his little sister, this kid fought and protected and did all he could to just make sure that she stayed safe, which is absolutely incredible. Truly and just wordlessly incredible.
When I first heard about this on Twitter myself, and I was like, oh my God. And I saw some of the pictures, and you feel bad for this boy, but at the same time, you don't even know him, and you're just, I guess the word would be proud that he would do this. I don't know if at 7 years old, I would even do that.
I don't know if I could. I don't know if I'd have the strength or the bravery to do it. This kid is amazing.
Myself, I have no siblings, so I don't know how I would react. I would either react one or two ways. I would do what he did, or I would be like, screw you, you're on your own.
Yeah. For me, I'm the youngest one in my family, so it's hard for me to think in terms of being an older sibling, I don't know, I don't know how I'd react. I really don't.
I don't have much more to say besides this kid. He's honestly truly a hero. Because who knows how this could have ended so much differently.
Yeah, he probably he likely saved a life right there. Saved the life of his baby sister, and it's so awesome that celebrities are, getting a hold of this, especially his favorite superhero in Captain America. That's awesome that they're actually responding to this and sending messages and stuff to him, and an authentic shield and everything. That's so cool.
I want an authentic shield, and I don't even watch Captain America movies.
Oh, I totally get that, but
I mean, could you imagine he would, at a sleepover, kids would be showing off what he's got, and he'd be like, pulls out of his bag an authentic Captain America shield. Yeah, you guys' things are great, but mine are better because I saved my little sister's life.
This kid is going to be hailed as a hero for so long.
As he should be.
I completely agree. But
that is this week's good news story.
Yeah. And this pretty much marks the end of this week's episode.
And I know how much you guys miss us in between uploads, so make sure you listen Wednesday mornings for the failed election series that we started 2 weeks ago, and our blog on personal finance, and of course you can find us on Twitter and Instagram.
Yep, that's right. So, of course, our social media is, as always, we have on Twitter and Instagram, you can find the podcast at Blind Boy Politic. You can also find the blog accounts on Twitter and Instagram at bb_finance_biz. That is at bb_finance_biz. For my personal account on Twitter only, because I don't use Instagram anymore, you have at blinding_aura. That is at blinding_AURA. And for Chris, we have at C_Baker002. I dearly hope you can figure out how to spell Baker.
If not, you might need some extra help than just listening to our podcast.
Yep, and definitely don't ask us for advice, because I think we need extra help.
That's for sure. Because my banana bread is still in the oven. It probably needs to come out by now.
Lovely. Don't burn your house down, please.
I'm trying not to, but if I'm not in a hospital bed next week, I will be at my house. Until then, see you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.